Hey everybody, it's your favorite friend and fiend, Kenneth Ramon. I'm back here again in the Cruiser Bruiser. Back with you this time with another awesome-tacular movie review for you guys. And today, this movie review comes very unexpectedly. I just saw a movie called Death of a Unicorn. Well, what the heck? What is that all about? Well, let me share with you guys what this whole thing is all about. So quite literally, you guys, I was just scrolling through Facebook and I saw an ad with this like movie poster, right, with Jenna Ortega. She's like totally freaking out with this like crazy, I'm assuming it's a monster. All you could see is like the teeth and its mouth and jaws open really wide, and she's like, ah! So I'm like, I have to go see what this movie's all about. And you guys know me, I avoid trailers at all costs because they always spoil something for me. You know, it kind of takes away from my movie going experience. So I did not watch any trailers for this movie, but let me just tell you, I went to the theater and I left pleasantly surprised. So let me just talk to you a minute about this awesome assemble of like actors here. Totally amazing, guys. You have Jenna Ortega, you know, who's like the Scream Queen, you know, the modern day Scream Queen. She's played, you know, Wednesday. She is in the Scream franchise. Most recently, she was in Beetlejuice, you know, the new Beetlejuice. And she kills it every time. There's just something about her and her acting chops that are just phenomenal, you know, speaking as a horror fan. Anyways, you guys, so there's her. There's Paul Rudd, you know, comedic genius right there. You know, I always loved him in Knocked Up. That was my favorite Paul Rudd movie. But the guy's hilarious. So, you know, right there, they say this movie's like a horror comedy. It's got Paul Rudd. It's got Jenna Ortega. Right there, I'm hooked. And you also got Tia Leoni, who I know best from Fun with Dick and Jane with Jim Carrey. And she was also in the movie Spanglish with Adam Sandler, and also Jurassic Park 3. You know, I've seen her before in so many great movies, and when I saw her on the screen, I'm like, yeah, what do I know her from? And I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, okay. Really, really cool. Really fun actress. You also got Richard E. Grant, who is in, you know, The Little Vampire, and most recently he was in Star Wars. Really cool guy. And not only that though, oh yeah, Will Poulter, who is the kid in We're the Millers. He's back for this one as well. And so to get into this film's premise real quick, guys, you got Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, who play a father and daughter kind of going on this family trip to see a family member who is expected to die soon. He's not in good shape. He wants to make a will where like he could give the family business to family members he feels are worthy. And that's why, you know, Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd's characters are on their way there so they could prove themselves worthy of handling the family business. This family member who is not doing so good is played by Richard E. Grant. He does an amazing job in this movie, guys. Like, you totally believe that he's sick. And at first, I really genuinely thought that Richard E. Grant wasn't doing too good because, like, he really pulled off this character and kind of like really kind of embodies someone who's not doing well, who's on the verge of death, so to speak. But on the way of this family trip, the father and daughter accidentally hit something in the middle of the road. Now, they're not sure what it is at first, but they end up killing it. At least they thought they killed it. They end up putting it in their car, and then this mysterious creature escapes. The creature is then identified as a unicorn. You know, it's a fucking unicorn, is one of the characters says. They all discover that the unicorn has an ability to heal people that are dying, okay? So much that they gave Richard E. Grant's character some unicorn blood, and then all of a sudden he's like, I feel so alive. Okay, he's all like, give me more unicorn blood. I'll have a steak, a medium rare, please. Extra blood. This movie is absolutely hilarious, guys. And that's as far as I will say about this movie. And then everything goes wrong after that. It takes like a horror turn in this movie, which I was kind of expecting a horror movie, judging by, you know, the movie's poster. And, you know, there are horror themes in it, but mostly I will say this is kind of like a straightforward, like, fantasy type of movie, really, with, like, really dry humor sprinkled in there. Like, and it's so funny. That's just the thing. Like, the movie has a very serious tone. It's really the situation itself that's really funny. You know, where you just can't take this seriously. Like, it's a movie about a unicorn, for God's sakes. You know, that's why the whole theater's all cracking up, because the situations they find themselves in are super funny. And the way the characters react to it, like, all seriously, is just, there's humor in that alone in itself. So, that being said, I really did enjoy this movie for the most part. When it gets into the horror elements is where this movie really shines. One of the problems I have with the movie is it's a little bit of a slow burn, just a little bit. There's parts in the movie where I feel like scenes drag on too long, and it is somewhat predictable too. Like, the audience kind of knows what's about to happen before the characters in the movie do. And that kind of like takes away from the movie a little bit. There was some parts where I was like, okay, let's get this movie going, you know. But once it does get going, I was absolutely hooked. Once it becomes a monster movie like I was kind of expecting it to be, and you got some like irate killer unicorns around, I just thought it was amazing. It's got a good amount of gore in there. I mean, not too much. It's not like super, super gory, but there's enough to like really satisfy horror fans, you know, Jenna Ortega fans. I felt like the movie was like really cool once it kind of becomes like a Jurassic Park type of movie, really, where you have the characters hiding in places so that the unicorn doesn't find them. It really does feel a little bit like Jurassic Park, and they're kind of like stuck in little zones while the unicorns are going crazy and killing people. I thought that was really cool, and I really enjoyed the ending of this movie. A lot of people won't, because it's silly. The movie itself is silly. The concept itself is silly. But you know what? In a world where we've been taking ourselves way too seriously, let's have a little bit of fun, you know? I feel like that's really missing in movies these days, and I'm happy there's more horror comedies out there. That's something I've been wanting to tell you guys. I'm really, really stoked about movies I've been seeing in theaters lately, like Companion. Hard Eyes was really good. I didn't get a chance to review Hard Eyes, but Hard Eyes was amazing. The concept of the monkey I kind of liked, but I felt like it wasn't executed as well. But that being said, you guys, there's like a lot of like horror comedies out there, and they're kind of bringing that genre back. Maxine was another one that didn't take itself too seriously. It was just like a fun going, you know, horror comedy experience, you know, with silly gore and practical effects. And I'm just so happy that these movies are back. And so yeah, going back to the ending I found myself really satisfied with. And, you know, I saw a couple people in the theater kind of snickering. They're like, seriously, this is how this movie's going to end? But then once it does, you know, it's fun. You know, don't take the movie too seriously. It's just has a really fun ending in there. Kind of like The Substance. The Substance kind of had a little fun ending in there too. And, you know, that's like a big hit, you know, for Hollywood right now. Unexpected hit. So anyways, you guys, enough rambling. I'm going to give this movie, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 because it's not perfect, but I still found it very enjoyable. If you're a horror fan, you're a fan of the cast. I mean, it's a stellar cast, you guys, and every cast member in this movie has like equal amount of screen time, and they really shine with their given parts, I feel, you know. And I will say they're more serious. That's the one thing I saw is like everybody in this movie is very serious, but it just the tone of it just adds so much comedy to it, where you're like, okay, you know, this movie shouldn't be this serious. It's a movie about a freaking unicorn, for God's sake. But that being said, that was part of the fun. That's part of why I enjoyed it. I can't wait to buy this movie. So I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10 Coolio rating, and I highly recommend that you guys check it out. Anyways, you guys, that is my review. Let me know if you saw Death of a Unicorn or if you plan to see it. Like I said, I plan on even picking it up. Even like the poster art itself is freaking cool. And the movie did not disappoint, you guys. So definitely I recommend checking it out. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Follow my channel. Follow the Black Heartstrings. Kenneth Ramone. Signing off.